Hi everyone, welcome. Andrew Ambrosius here for another episode of The Art of Business English. Now, this week I want to share with you some expressions you can use when you're on a business trip, specifically related to hotels. So if you need to travel often and you struggle or feel uncomfortable, you need to do things at the hotel, then you'll find today's episode really helpful, because what I'm going to do is in this episode, I'm going to be looking at some vocabulary and some common expressions, but I'm also going to be looking at how you can sound much more polite. Okay, so basically, the art of politeness is very important, and I think it's becoming a bit of a lost art. So today we're going to look at how you can make yourself sound more polite. In today's episode, I'll be covering some general hotel vocabulary and expressions, okay, just to start things off. Then I'm going to talk about the theory about how you can sound more polite, okay, so how we can transform your questions into more polite questions. Then I'm going to divide the episode into different sections. So basically, when you are making a reservation, so before you arrive, and then in the second part, I'll be doing the questions that you may need to ask when you're at reception or when you've arrived at the hotel. And then finally, I'll wrap things up with some questions that you could be asked by reception when you're at the hotel. And I'll be doing a bit of coaching along the way. So I'm going to show you how you can transform your questions, your direct questions, and make them a little bit more polite. Okay, so let's kick things off and get straight into it. And we're looking at some general hotel vocabulary and expressions. Now, the great thing about the hotels is that the whole check-in process is pretty straightforward. Even if you speak very little English, you can complete the task. However, wouldn't it be great if you could, or if you knew all of the vocabulary that you typically hear? Wouldn't it be great to feel more confident when you're in these situations, and maybe not feel ridiculous when you struggle to do, the basic tasks such as checking into a hotel? So, well, let's start then. We're going to have a look at a good range of vocabulary, and it's important that knowing how to answer the typical questions that are asked is also important. Okay, so let's start by looking at some typical words you should know when you're checking in. I'll give you the expression, then the translation as always, and a quick example. Okay, so let's start with the first one. The first one is shuttle bus. Important, the pronunciation here, shuttle bus. And that's not shuttle bus, it's shuttle bus. So that's una lanzadera. So an example would be, do you know if there's a shuttle bus from the airport to the hotel? Next one is business center. Business center. And that is un centro de negocios, okay? And the business center is huge and well equipped. Next one is electronic safe. So es una caja fuerte electrónica. Each room in the hotel has an electronic safe. Conference room. Conference room. So the conference room is la sala de conferencias. The conference room is on your right. Next one is continental breakfast or full buffet breakfast. So continental breakfast or full buffet breakfast. We say buffet, we don't say buffet, okay? Desayuno continental or buffet. We offer continental breakfast, but you can also have the full buffet. Disabled facilities. Disabled facilities. Instalaciones adaptadas. I like this hotel because it has disabled facilities. Suitcase. This is countable, okay? So suitcase. You can have one suitcase, two suitcases, and it's a maleta. Allow our porter to take your suitcase to your room. Now, luggage is uncountable. So luggage is equipaje. Always keep an eye on your luggage at the airport. Next one is queen or king size bed. Cama de matrimonio. We asked for a queen size bed, but we got 2 single beds. Okay, next one is prohibited. Prohibited. So prohibited is prohibido. Smoking is prohibited in all rooms. Next one is rollaway bed. A rollaway bed is una cama supletoria. We asked for an extra bed in the room, so they brought us a rollaway bed. Reservation, it's easy, no? Reservación. How many people are traveling under your reservation? Amenities. Amenities. Now, amenities is comodidades, and the modern amenities in this hotel make it a real pleasure to stay in. Housekeeping. Housekeeping is servicio de limpieza. If you would like housekeeping to make up your room, then just leave the sign on the doorknob. Lobby. Lobby. The lobby is el vestíbulo. So you must be in the lobby by 9 a.m. where your tour guide will be waiting. Room service. Servicio de habitación. You can dial room service on 111. And finally, wake-up call. Okay, a wake-up call. A wake-up call is llamada de despertador. Would you like a wake-up call for tomorrow morning? Okay, so that covers the type of language or some typical language you need to know when you're staying at a hotel, okay? So let's look in the next part of the episode at some structures you can use for making polite requests. So here I'm going to give you the theory behind making polite requests, okay? So let's start this section off with a little coaching. Basically, the first rule is that being friendly and smiling, okay, will go a long way to helping you get what you want. People are much more likely to help you if you are nice to them and if you treat them with the respect that they deserve. Remember, some people are quite rude, especially to hotel staff, and they even look down on them and treat them as inferior. The person is a person, they have a job to do, and their job is in the service industry, but that doesn't mean that you can be rude or disrespectful towards them, okay? So it's very important that we are genuinely respectful and nice to people, okay? And especially, people who are serving you food, they're helping you, and you are paying for a service in a hotel, but better off to be nice, okay? Remember the expression. It's nice to be important, but it's important to be nice, okay? So it's nice to be important, but it's more important to be nice. All right, that's a bit of advice there for you guys. All right, so secondly, as you are not a native speaker of English, you're going to need to understand the basics of being polite, okay? So remember, please and thank you are only the beginning, okay? Unlike in Spanish, and this is important, with English, we tend to speak less directly to sound more polite, okay, and more formal. So let me give you an example of different degrees of politeness. As I give you the example sentence, I'm going from neutral to more and more polite, okay, and less direct. So the first one is, hello, I want to make a reservation. Hello, I want to make a reservation. The next one is, hello, I would like to make a reservation. The next one is, hello, can I make a reservation? Hello, could I make a reservation, please? And hello, may I make a reservation, please? And finally, hello, I was wondering if you would mind helping me make a reservation, please. So one more time. Hello, I want to make a reservation, which is very direct. Hello, I would like to make a reservation. Hello, can I make a reservation? Hello, could I make a reservation, please? 5, hello, may I make a reservation, please? And 6, finally, hello, I was wondering if you would mind helping me make a reservation, please. Okay? So as you can see, we're going from making a direct statement and using the verb want, which is very direct, okay, all the way up to making questions. In example 2, we use would, which is less direct than want. and expresses a desire as opposed to a demand. Okay. Now in part 3, in number 3, sorry, we use can in question form, which is asking for permission. But in 4 and 5, we use could, which is the conditional form and less direct and more formal, or may, which is the most polite and formal use of the modal forms can and could. Okay, so finally, in example 6, we use an indirect question in progressive form with the verb wonder. So this is far less direct. Well, it's an indirect statement, to be honest, but this is far less direct and much more suggestive. Okay, in the second part, we use would mind, which again is a conditional and less direct. Okay, so let's move on then. So where am I going with all of this? Yes, well, let me outline the general principles of being polite. Okay, so you should always follow these rules. Okay, especially if you're dealing with your clients. This is not just applicable for hotels. You can also use these structures with your clients to sound much more polite. So rule number 1, avoid using verbs such as want, need, have to, and must. These are very direct ways of asking for things, and they're making demands on people or giving them orders. Okay. Rule number 2, always speak where possible, indirectly, meaning that you make your requests into questions and you use conditional verbs where possible. And rule number 3, always use please and thank you, all right, and other expressions that make the request seem optional to the other person. Okay, by making it sound optional, you're being less direct. Okay, and you're actually requesting help as opposed to making demands. And some expressions you could use are would you mind, if it is not too much trouble. So if it is not too much trouble, if you have the time. If you have the time. I would really appreciate. So I would really appreciate. I was wondering, or I was hoping. And finally, I would be grateful if. I would be grateful if. Okay, so by using these types of expressions, you generally make the other person want to help you. Okay, instead of demanding help, you're actually making it more optional, and people will generally want to help you. Okay, they will feel happy to help someone who understands and respects their time. Okay, so let's move on now. Now that you understand how to put together these formal requests, let's now look at the next part of the episode. And here, in this part of the episode, I've divided the questions into different topic areas. So I'm going to give you the questions, then we're going to work together, making them sound more polite. Okay, so the first one is before you arrive at the hotel, and some of the questions you may need to ask to make a reservation. So let's go. In this, is this reception the front desk or reservation line? So is this reception the front desk, the reservation line? I want to reserve a room for next week. So I want to reserve a room for next week. Can I email you my reservation? Can I book online? Do you have a hotel transfer? Is breakfast included in the price? And what hotel services do you offer? Okay, so here is where the coaching comes in. What we're going to do now is analyze these sentences, okay, and make them sound politer or more polite and a bit more formal, okay? So the first one is pretty straightforward or straight up question, okay? So we can make it less direct by using the progressive form, okay? So by using the progressive form, which is the verb to be plus ing. So am I talking to reception? So instead of is this reception, you could say am I talking to reception? The next one is obviously very direct. So if you want to keep it as an affirmative statement, then we can use would like instead of want, as I mentioned before. So to sound less direct and more formal. So I would like to reserve a room for next week instead of I want to. In the next two phrases, can I email you my reservation and can I book online? These two can be modified simply by using the conditional could. Okay, so could I email you my reservation or could I book online? With the next two, do you have a hotel transfer and is breakfast included? Again, here we can use the progressive form of the verb wonder, okay, to sound less direct. I was wondering if you have a hotel transfer service. And I was wondering if breakfast is included. Okay, so finally we can modify the last question to be less direct by using would you mind? So something like this. Would you mind explaining the hotel services you offer? Okay, so that's a bit of coaching there for you. Okay, let's now move on to the next part of this section. Here we're going to be looking at questions you may ask when you arrive at the hotel. Okay, so this is when we arrive. Now, hello, good afternoon. I have a reservation under the name of Johnson. Do you have valet parking? Can someone take my bags up to my room? Can I extend my stay by an extra night? Where can I get a taxi into the city? Is there good public transport into the city? Are there good restaurants nearby? Can you please change my room? This one is very noisy. Can I pay in cash, credit card, or traveler's check? Okay, let's work together now on this exercise, okay? We're going to do the same as in the previous exercise, and I want you to think of a way of making the following sentences more polite and less direct, okay? So, do you have valet parking? We could change that to, I was wondering if you have valet parking. Can someone take my bags up to my room? Could someone take my bags up to my room? Can I extend my stay by an extra night? Would it be possible for me to extend my stay by an extra night? Where can I get a taxi into the city? I was wondering where I could get a taxi into the city. Is there good public transport into the city? I was hoping you knew if there was good public transport into the city. Are there good restaurants nearby? I was wondering if there are any good restaurants nearby. Can you please change my room? This one is very noisy. I would like to change my room, or I would like to change rooms. This one is very noisy. Can I pay cash? Would it be a problem if I paid cash? So as you can see, we've made quite a few changes to some of the sentences, and you'll notice that in some of the sentences we are using the if conditional. Okay, this is making the sentences much less direct and therefore more formal. Okay, so let's finish the episode then by quickly looking at some sentences that you may be asked, okay, when you're in the hotel. These are typical questions that you should be ready to answer. Okay, so remember, if we know the type of questions to expect, then it will be easier to answer them and have a prepared response. Okay, so let's start. May I have your name or reservation number, please? Can I please have the credit card you used to make the booking? Would you like your bags taken to your room? This is your room key. It's an electronic card. Please keep it away from your mobile phone or magnetic fields. Your room number is 314, which is on the 3rd floor. Reception is 0 on your phone set should you require any assistance. Do you need anything else? I hope you enjoy your stay. Okay, so, well, again, that brings us to the end of another episode. Okay, I hope that you have, as always, found this information useful. Okay, so just to conclude, you should definitely learn to be more polite. Okay, people will respond positively to others who are polite. Many people nowadays are becoming less formal, and I really feel that if you are able to be polite and charming, It will help you to become more successful in business and life. Okay, so before I go, I'd just like to remind you and all of my listeners and subscribers that we have a powerful presentation small group coaching program, okay, starting on the 21st of November 2018. Okay, so this is a 4-week online program designed to help you excel at presenting and communicating in English. Okay, we have the program open to a maximum of 8 people. So if you're interested, you should go to www.theartofbusinessenglish.com/SGCP. Okay, so /SGCP. Okay, I'll also link it up in the show notes. Early signups as well will get a special bonus. Okay, 3 months of completely free access to the premium section of the Art of Business English website. Okay, and that includes the weekly or free weekly coaching calls. Okay, so if you're really interested, then have a look, check it out, and make sure you sign up because we're starting in the next 2.5 weeks. If you're listening to this episode this week now, which is the 5th of November. Okay, well, guys, I look forward to seeing you all or some of you there on the small group coaching program. If you want to improve your presentation skills, then this is definitely for you. If you're already presenting in English and you really want to get more confidence, then come and have a look at the website, read the information, and join now. If you have any questions, please let me know. And I'll look forward to seeing you all next week. So take care. Bye for now.